PG&E's monopoly territory is home to 17 million people. It's bigger than most state
families already struggle to pay their bills.
Some of the highest rates for power in the nation. Committing crimes. PG&E was convicted of 91 felonies.
Really? I mean, what's next? What are we gonna do?
Only Greybeard can save us.
Once again, the man named Greybeard has saved the world.
Solar power is our only.
Welcome to the Greybeard Talks Solar YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the information that I'm going to be sharing today. And today's topic is going to be all about NEM 2 and NEM 1 expansion solar systems. So to give some context to the conversation today, for those of you that are not aware, big changes occurred in solar in California in 2023. In April of 2023, net energy metering 3.0 was instituted in California, approved by the CPUC on December 15th of 2022. I was actually on that call listening to hundreds and hundreds of homeowners tell the California Public Utilities Commission to vote no on this change. And unfortunately, they didn't listen, voted yes, and so here we are. So in order for you to understand the differences between NEM 2 and NEM 3, I'm going to first explain NEM 2, then NEM 3, and then I'm going to provide a solution that is very, very not known. Probably could have had a better way to say that, but a solution that very few folks are aware of in solar, and you may not be aware of. We can help you with that negative balance true-up problem that others maybe have told you that you're stuck with. And so first things first, let's talk about net energy metering 2.0 and how that works. So on any bright, sunshiny day, your solar system is likely going to produce more energy than what you're using inside the home. The one thing about solar is when it's on the roof, okay, it's not flexible. It's not malleable. I don't have a button that I can push that is a turbo button that allows us to make more energy than it normally does, nor do we have a brake button that allows us to make less energy than we normally do. So when the sun hits the panels, they're going to produce electricity, and that electricity that's produced may be more substantial than what the house is using at that given time or any given day, given week. Maybe you're out running errands, maybe you're gone, maybe you're at work, maybe the kids are at school. Whatever the situation is, that system is going to crank out a lot of energy, and when it exceeds what the house is consuming, because the first energy that is consumed is going to be at the house level. If you have batteries, it then goes into battery systems, and then lastly, it'll go to the utility. So under the net energy metering 2.0 structure, which is the older structure, pre-April of 2023, you would know, if you have a solar system now, you would know that you're part of that structure if you have a true-up bill with your utility. But effectively, with NEM 2 systems, on that bright, sunshiny day, when that system is producing more energy than what you're consuming inside the home, the excess energy has to go somewhere, and that energy is going to go to the utility. So, for example, let's just use PG&E as an example. Could be Edison, could be San Diego Gas and Electric, could be SMUD, whatever your utility, but here's the example. If it goes to PG&E, PG&E as a utility company will receive the energy, reconcile it on a statement for you showing that they've received it, and then allow you to be able to pull that energy back later that day, later that week, later that month, or even later in the year, which is why you have a 1-year true-up year, right? You can actually bank credits in spring that you could use for winter's deficit. I used to say that spring's bounty could pay for winter's deficit because you had a 1-year reconciliation. Make as much energy as you can with solar, and if you make more energy with solar in a whole year than what you purchased or consumed from the utility, in other words, your system made more energy than you totally consumed in the year, you shouldn't have a negative balance true-up bill. The only time a solar system will create a negative balance true-up bill for you is if the amount of energy it produced was under what you're consuming at the house, right? That would lead to a negative balance true-up. Now, point of clarification here, okay? A lot of people that don't really understand solar, aren't really familiar with it, think that a negative balance true up is emblematic or an example of a problem with solar, that something's not working properly with the solar system. And the thing that I like to say is solar is not a one size fits all solution for every home. In other words, one of the questions I get often doing my radio program is, hey, Greybeard, I've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. How much is, it's 1,800 square foot. How much is solar going to cost me? That's an impossible question to answer, in part because, the solar equation and the energy consumption equation is a lot more specific to individuals. In other words, your temperature preferences, how you live life, when you work, how you consume energy, the time of day that you consume energy, the other family members that consume energy in your home, all are part of the equation of how big of a solar system you would need. So typically the biggest areas where we see consistent underperformance with solar and negative balance true-up bills is in two situations. It's where you buy a new construction home. Back in 2019, California mandated that all new construction has to have solar. But as a builder, if you and I were a builder, you're going to build the minimum size system you have to, because you don't know if 2 people or 20 people are going to move into the house. You don't know if they're going to have an electric car or a gas-powered car. You know nothing about the future buyer. So you're going to build the minimum that California forces you to build, 10, 12 panel system, which is not very big. And then as a new homeowner, someone comes in, they think they've got all the energy use they need because they've got solar on the roof, and they just use a lot of energy, not realizing that that's a super small system. The other occurrence of this happens frequently when, let's say, an existing homeowner, husband and wife, with one 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, install solar at their property. 5-6 years later, they decide to sell the house and move. And then a family of 4 or 5 move in, younger kids, a lot more energy usage, and they have an electric car. Their energy consumption profile as a new buyer, as a new homeowner to that existing property is going to be much greater than the former owners. And so the size of the system that the former owners built to address their needs will not meet the needs of the new family. So, for example, another way to think about it is this way. I wear a size 11 shoe. I can't take my size 11 foot and put it into a size 7 shoe. You can't take 16,000 kilowatt hours of usage or consumption of energy and make a solar system that was only purposed with generating 10,000 kilowatt hours of energy meet that need, right? So that's the reason why there's often a negative balance true-up. But getting back to the NEM2 discussion for a moment. So net energy metering 2.0, bright sunshiny day, systems cranking out energy, more energy than what you're consuming inside the home. That excess energy has to be exported somewhere. It's going to go to the utility. They're going to reconcile it and store it for you. So effectively with NEM2 systems, true-up systems, the utility looks and acts like a battery for you. They store the energy and then allow you to pull that energy back, functioning very similarly to a battery. The only difference is they don't provide backup power in the event of an outage because you don't get backup power with the utility, right? So that's how a NEM2 system works. Full value credit. You send 10 watts of excess energy to the utility. You get to pull 10 watts of excess energy back from the utility, hence the one-to-one credit. So when I was on the call with the CPUC in December of 2022, December 15th, homeowner after homeowner after homeowner told them to vote no on this new iteration of a new compensation schedule for homeowners in California that had excess energy. So they call it now NEM 3. So NEM, net energy metering, is just the formal agreement. Think of it as the contract that you have with the utility for how you're going to be compensated for that excess energy that the system produces. So all it is an agreement. The only version of that agreement for you, if you don't have solar currently, that's available in California in 2024, as of when this channel and this video is being recorded, is the NEM 3 version of the solar agreement. Now, that agreement changes the amount of compensation that you receive for that excess or exported energy to the utility. So solar still works the same. Bright, sunshiny day, sun hits the panels, they're going to make energy. The first energy that's going to be consumed is in the house. If you don't have a battery, which is where we'd really want the excess energy to go now, is into a battery. But if you don't have a battery, that exported energy will go to the utility. And today, instead of the utility acting like a battery for you, for new solar folks, they act like a thief. Okay, so if you export energy to the utility, they keep about 75% of that exported energy, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. It's a travesty. It's your solar system. You went through the process of investigating, researching it, getting bids, going through the design process, the permitting process, installation process. It's at your home. It's your asset. Why should they keep any of it? Right? That's my mindset. Why should they be entitled to keep any of it? But, it was a significant change, and the CPUC is an appointed board. It's not an elected board. It was appointed by Newsom, and I think they sided with the utilities. So effectively now, on a bright, sunshiny day, if you produce more energy than what you're consuming inside the home, that excess energy is exported to the utility. They keep 75% of it. And so that's not an equation for significant financial benefit to you. So enter batteries for a second. So now NEM 3 systems, which was our argument against this change, us that was in the solar industry prior to this change occurring, said that this is going to make solar a lot more expensive for folks because previously to this, NEM 2 systems, true-up systems, most folks didn't really need batteries because the utility acted like a battery for them. Now folks need battery storage as a surrogate, because if you send 10 watts into the battery, you can pull 10 watts out, no loss. Send 10 watts to the utility, now you're only going to get 2.5 watts of credit back from them. So that explains NEM 2 and NEM 3. So let's go back here for a second and talk about net energy metering 2.0. When this NEM 3 change occurred, when they migrated from NEM 2 to NEM 3, they put in a condition that was really prohibitive for most NEM 2 folks to expand their system. Effectively, when net energy metering 3.0 was enacted, it created a very limited opportunity for net energy meter 2.0 folks to expand their system. You can expand to 1 kW or 1,000 watts of extra generation. Effectively, think of that like 2 extra solar panels. So if you have a negative balance true-up bill right now with the utility, and let's say that negative balance is $2,000, you end up using $2,000 worth of utility energy over and above what your solar system was making. If you wanted to address that concern, you could add 2 panels, which is not a lot, or 10% of whatever the system size of your system is, whichever's greater. So if 10% falls under the 1,000 watts or 1 kW, then you can go up to 1 kW. But let's say the 10% is much greater than the 1 kW, the maximum that you can still go is 1 kW. So think of it this way. If you've got a negative balance true-up bill, the only thing that you could do to make a dent in it is add 2 panels, and that probably, for a lot of people watching this video, is not going to be enough to address your need. Because the issue was, if you added more panels than that, the utility would make you sign a new net energy metering agreement. The only version of that available is the third or the current version, and thus you would take your NEM 2 system and transition it to NEM 3, which is now 75% reduced. So it was prohibitive. People didn't want to lose their one-to-one credit. That's far more valuable than the current iteration. So let me segue just for a second. NEM 2 systems, if you have a home that has a NEM 2 system, if you ever go to sell your house, that system is transferable to a new homeowner, and it's valuable from that perspective, in that you can't get it anymore. You can't get that one-to-one credit. So effectively, many folks, and I was telling folks this too, because this was the only guidance that we had, you couldn't really add on to your NEM 2 system without losing a lot of benefits. In other words, now you're stuck with this negative balance true-up. So the utilities are continuing to increase their cost, even if your excess energy stays quantitatively the same. You're not using more or less. It's going to be a much bigger true-up bill for you as time goes on, because electricity is getting more expensive with the utility. So this has been the problem, and I'm just giving context, you're probably aware of that now. So here's the good news. Just recently, we found a workaround. All right. So one of the strategic partners, In Phase Energy, significant publicly traded company, make a lot of the microinverters that we use, make one of the best batteries available in solar today. They're calling this an expansion system, but we've gotten clarity from the utilities on how you can add panels. You can add more generation to your system, because a negative balance true up, think of it this way. A negative balance true up is a make energy problem. You're not making enough energy to meet the consumption that you have as a family. So you need more panels. It's not a store energy problem. In other words, adding a battery, if you've got a negative balance true up, adding a battery to your system is not really going to help you. Adding panels would help you in that regard. So now with an expansion system, we have a couple different options. Thousands of homeowners have NEM1, NEM2 systems. You can now expand your net energy metering 2.0 system without losing your status, okay? You can include, you create basically effectively this. You create two different systems, okay? For sake of this conversation, old system, expansion system. The old system cannot be touched. It's the only system that can export energy to the utility. So when we add new panels via the expansion system, the new panels are really just going to soak up like a sponge. They're going to soak up the extra energy that you're consuming, generate enough to meet that need. But those new panels, that new system, can't send any energy to PG&E. Okay, they can't send any energy to the utility. You can add batteries to this new system. You just can't add batteries to your old one. You can't change anything about that old system, but you can change anything or create anything on the new side. So what we would do in this situation is we would look at your true-up bill statement. On your true-up bill statement, usually page 5 or 7 if you're in PG&E territory, it'll show you a graph of the net overconsumption that you and your family consumed, which led to the charges as to why you're getting the negative balance true-up. So we would build a system to make that much energy, and then if you prefer, you can have batteries along with that on the new system. We just can't make that new system send or push any energy to PG&E. So effectively, this allows for you as a homeowner to get financing, to add a expansion system to the home, maybe a power purchase program expansion system. You can pay cash for it. You can include battery backup storage. There's 3 different options that you have. One is zero export. This is the simplest and least expensive option to add to your current solar system. There's something called circuit relocation. This is the best option for homeowners wanting to add an expansion system with battery backup capability. If you're interested in having battery backup capability, that would be the best way to do that. And then there's a what they call a net GOM. It's effectively net generation output meter system. You use that option if you're wanting to add an expansion system to a older system that already has a battery. So effectively, just know this. You can address your negative balance true-up. You can add panels without losing your NEM2 status, your one-to-one status. So effectively, good news. Okay, this is great news, new news. A lot of people don't know this. You know, in solar, there's a lot of 18, 19, 20, 22-year-old door knockers. A lot of these guys are just in sales mode. They're not in research or investigation mode. That's one of the things I like about the fact that we are solar brokers. I've gone through about 30 different solar companies to try to find 11 good ones. I host a radio show on 7 different channels throughout California. I'm always trying to educate and inform our audience on everything that's available. So effectively, if you want to address that negative balance true-up, please reach out. A couple different ways you can connect with us. You can go to my website, www.solarwiseco.com. You can like and subscribe to the channel where you'll get additional information that we share. If you'd like to learn more about these expansion systems and how we might be able to help you address your negative balance true-up, simply take out your smartphone. All you've got to do is text YT, stands for YouTube, YT to 84503. It's our 5-digit short code number. So if you text YT YouTube to 84503, we'll be back in touch with you and we'll help you to sort this out. Thank you so much again for watching Greybeard Talks Solar. Please like and subscribe or share the information that you have if it was meaningful and beneficial to you today. And we'll catch you again next week.
Thanks for listening to SolarWise. Greybeard Talks Solar. Please visit our website, solarwiseco.com, to learn more. And we will see you next time on SolarWise.